Breonna Taylor, y'all, 27, or should I say, would have been 27 years old today. I just want to say happy birthday. I just want to start by saying happy birthday, Breonna Taylor. Now, almost everyone knows the story, but let me just say this real quick, And this is the reason why I decided to open this way, is that we all have been through just a emotional, draining week. I mean, I'm telling you, I've never been more emotionally drained in my life than this week. That being said, I still feel motivated. I still feel positive. I still feel committed. And what I want to say right now is that so many of us, so many of us look at Breonna Taylor, we look at George Floyd, and we say, you know what? We're now going to do it in honor of, right? We say, we're going to do it in honor of. And I want you to all remember, what does in honor of actually mean? In honor of means that you're going to do something different. You're going to do something more. You're going to do something better. In other words, you're going to change the way that you've currently been doing something, and you're going to do it in honor of, you're going to do it differently. And this is the reason why I'm so motivated right now. You know why? Because I now am going to do it in honor of Breonna Taylor, in honor of George Floyd, right? My life will forever be changed, will forever, ever be changed. But I feel more excited. Like, I feel more excited about our future. I honestly do. And I don't know if it's just me, but I do. And I think a lot of that excitement about the future comes with knowing that you and I, that we truly do control our actions, right? And so therefore we have good control over our outcomes. And that's exactly what this session is all about today. That's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about, forget about what everyone else is out here saying that they're going to do to help us. This is about, how do we individually build? And before I even get going, right? Because before I even get going, let me put something else on the screen real quick. I just want to start with this real quick before we get going, guys. You can see I'm already rearing to go. Has anyone seen this week as well? Right? This is I subscribe to an email called Hustle newsletter, right? And it was a really good newsletter until I saw this one today. Now, this week, because major businesses, major funders, they don't know what to do in terms of, they don't know how to quote unquote support the Black community. So a lot of them have been announcing different things. You see here, SoftBank announces 100 million. Andreessen Horowitz announces 2.2 million. Bank of America commits to over 1 billion. Goldman Sachs commits to 10 million. And what's interesting is that this newsletter tried to play it like, well, this is great news. Finally, Black people are going to get the funding that they need. Finally, Black businesses are going to get the funding that they need. This is the story. The story now is, okay, we went through a terrible week last week. This week, all of these big businesses came to our rescue, and now the future is going to be lovely, right? This is the story. But let me tell you, this is complete, utter BS, complete, utter nonsense. And I just wanted to use this as another, almost as another metric, right, around why we need to build ourselves. And we, by the way, I'm not just talking about Black entrepreneurs out here. I'm talking about every entrepreneur. We all need to individually build ourselves. We need to build our own financial base. And here's the reason why. Look at this. SoftBank says, I am going to give $100 million fund to you needy Black entrepreneurs. and you should be thankful for this. Let me tell you something. Does anybody know how much SoftBank invested in WeWork? Anybody want to guess what SoftBank invested in WeWork? SoftBank has invested nearly $8 billion in one company. In one company, nearly $8 billion in WeWork. That's one investment. One investment, right? The CEO was talking about raising $100 billion funds every other year. So you're going to tell me you're going to turn around and put out $100 million opportunity? That's peanuts. That's peanuts. That's nothing. That's laughable. That's insulting. It's insulting. Look at Andreessen Horowitz. Now, I'm going to get in trouble when I say this, but I'm going to say it, right? Because that's how we live right now. I'm going to say it. Andreessen Horowitz, everybody loves, especially Ben Horowitz, because he likes hip hop, right? Everybody likes him because he references hip hop all the time. So therefore, we should like this firm, right? This is a firm that invests. Let me see. They have $2.7 billion in managed assets, $2.7 billion. And they say, oh yeah, Black people, you should be happy with this $2.2 million that we're now going to invest, right? Look at Bank of America. Bank of America comes out $1 billion. This is, I'm telling y'all, this is all a publicity stunt. This is nonsense. This is crazy. Bank of America says $1 billion over 4 years. Somebody please check the annual statement for Bank of America real quick. Oh, you don't have to check it. I got it right here. Bank of America does about $100 billion in revenue. In revenue, they do $100 billion. So now they're talking about allocating $250 million. This is nonsense. This is complete, utter nonsense. All of it is nonsense, right? All of it is nonsense, right? I mean, there's so many things that would be a lot more effective. Like we want to see Black people in management. We want to see Black people on boards. We want to see, there's so many other things, but let me just say this. That was all a publicity stunt. But this is the reason why I'm excited, because now it's very clear that you can't rely on any of these folks out here. When I say these folks, I'm specifically talking about these companies. You can't rely on government, right? You see what's happening with governments, all, especially, the U.S. government. Like we can't rely on these folks. We rely on us, right? And this is the reason why I'm so excited about today, because today I'm talking about how you build your business, how you build your financial freedom, how you build your economic power. And it's that economic power that will lead to political power. I'm sorry. I started off on a rant, y'all. But this is just the zone I'm in. And my commitment is to come to you always in the zone I'm in. So that's how I'm going. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's how I'm feeling. Let me say this, a couple of things real quick, guys, real quick before we get started. Today, I'm going to invite some tribe members on. Okay. So the folks that I want to invite on, I'm going to show the link in a second. Those that I want to come on as a part of tribe, right, is I want you to come on if you have not yet launched your business, but you're thinking about launching your business, right? So if you've not yet launched and you're thinking about launching your business, here is where I want you to go right here. Here's where I want you to go. I want to get 3 people in here. I'm going to take the first 3 people. Here's the invite link right there. Okay, right there. So you haven't yet launched your business. You're thinking about launching your business. Come join me. I'll take the first 3 people that use that link right there. There, boom, right there. You come join me there. All right. Next up is just some basic announcements before we get started. I have been sending out the newsletter, okay? The good old newsletter. Now, with the newsletter, I've noticed that a lot of people have said that they haven't received the newsletter. Now, if you have received the newsletter, if you guys received it yesterday, let me know if you've received it, okay? If you received the ebook that I sent out, let me know if you've received that. For those of you who have not, I would encourage you to do two things. One is check your spam, because I think spam is the devil, right? So there's a lot of stuff in spam. So make sure that you check spam. But then also make sure you just check your email, because when I say make sure you're checking it, is because you're getting a lot of email in. So just make sure that you're checking that. So please make sure that you are checking the spam, because I drop a lot of stuff in the newsletter. By the way, I see 2 people already in the queue right now. And I know a lot of people will start joining. I can only take the first 3, y'all. I'll only take the first 3. All right. So remember to be on the newsletter, because I'm doing recaps of everything. A matter of fact, today's session, I'm going to recap this weekend and get it to you next week, because that's how important I know today's session is going to be. So that's one. By the way, we have all 3 people in the queue already. So we've got 3. So please, no one else join. So I see you, Chantel, Ebony, Latoya, boom, we're good. You're going to be the tribe for today. So get ready. All right. So next up, before another quick announcement, very quick announcement, is that, where is it here? Okay. Jamaica. We are going to Jamaica, y'all. We're going to Jamaica next year. It's not going to be this year. It's going to be next year. Now we have over 200 people on this wait list, which is great. The reason why we have the wait list is just so that when we're ready to start announcing, I'll announce it everywhere, but I'm going to first go to this wait list. And also, if you want to participate, if you want to be a speaker, there's lots of people who say they want to contribute different things. Ron said he's going to be the photographer. Like, join this list, because we're going to go to this list first as we're planning things out. So make sure that you hit this list. That's right. Jamaica. It's going to be good. Jamaica's going to be great, actually. I don't even want to say who I've been talking about our potential keynote, but it's going to blow your mind. And my wife, Jill, already is planning the karaoke party. So get ready for that. The last thing that I want to say before we get cracking today is that I am about, right? So everybody's been saying, Paul, when are you going to bring back your mastermind? And the big reason why I wasn't ready to bring back the mastermind is because I shoot 2 TV shows out here in London, and we were on pause. I've now found out that we are going back to shooting, but it's going to be in July, right? It's going to be in July when I'm back, at least on one of the shows. We go back in July. So for the first time ever in my life, I have now this block of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the mastermind. So I've already plotted it. It's going to be ridiculous. If you want to get the first announcement, right? I'm going to announce it everywhere. I'm going to announce it here, etc. when we launch. But if you want to get that first announcement, which might be this weekend, but if you want to get that first announcement, just join this list right here, and you'll be the first to get the announcement. And the reason why I have to do that is because I'm going to do select cohorts. I'm going to do a new business cohort for folks who have not launched their business. I'm going to do a cohort for those who have already launched their business and they're trying to scale. I'm going to do a cohort for those who are really trying to grow their thought leadership brand. And so in each cohort, I have to unfortunately cap the number of people, at least in some of the cohorts. So that's why I've got this list, so you could be the first to know about it. All right. So this is it. Oh yeah. My sis Ann was talking about this link didn't work. Let me tell you one thing, and this is my fault. I should have pointed this out. You need a capital J, right? Come on, you can't do Jamaica with a lowercase J. Come on now, you know this. But you need a uppercase J. If you have a uppercase J, then you will get that. So all right. So that's it for the announcements. Let's get going, y'all. Yeah, Bitly is case sensitive. Bitly is real case sensitive, right? So even on this one, you have to type in uppercase PCB, uppercase. Yeah. All right. So, all right, let's get going, y'all. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about today. Let's first see who we're working with on the panel. Let's see who we're working with. All right, let me pull this away. Okay. So let's pull on our folks. Let's pull them on. Here we go. Oh, I know some of these folks. All right.
Hi.
Ladies, the first thing I What's going on? What's going on? First thing I have to say is I see we all are wearing black. Like,
It's the mood. It's the mood.
It's the energy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Even
it.
for the work zones.
yeah, this is it. This is it. I mean, look, I mean, this is great. Like we're all in. This is our game. So one is I'm really excited. So I just want to, if everyone could, let's do introductions one by one, and if you can just say your name, where are you watching from, or where are you participating from, and then also what is just the general category of the business idea that you're thinking about. Okay, and let's start. Whoever wants to take it. Whoever wants to take it first.
I'll start. I like to kick it off. Hello, everybody. I am watching my favorite Paul from Baldwin Hills, California. Very black. Down the street from Ladera Heights, which is the richest black neighborhood in the United States of America. My industry is that I'm speaking on today is coaching, although I like to call myself a master.
Okay. All right. We love it. We love that. And you drop some facts in there too. We love that. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I'm Ebony Atkins. I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia, where we hope to see the Confederate monuments come down pretty soon here. I want to start a consulting business working with small and mid-sized business improvement, copy editing, flyer development, event planning for small and mid-sized businesses, 200 employees or less.
All right, Richmond. There you go. I didn't even realize, but Kezia, who was on last week, or no, when was she on? Last week, was it? But I didn't realize she's in Richmond as well. And then also, my wife is from Richmond area.
And you came to speak at our Urban League Young Professionals meeting a couple years ago. That was my first introduction to you. So I've been riding ever since.
Good deal. Good deal. Ebony, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Last but definitely not least.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chantel Russo, and I am calling in from London. I am also Jamaican, so shout out to you, Paul, kinship. And I actually want to create a beauty marketplace. So e-com, a bit of tech, beauty. So that's what I'm looking to start.
Okay. All right. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is good. We have 3 completely different industry here, which is great. So let's dig right in. Okay. Let's dig right in. So I want to pull up the presentation, and here's how the presentation is going to work is I'll still go to the panel. I'm sorry. I'll still go to the comments in the audience, but I'm going to go to you all a lot. Oh, perfect. We all fit on the screen, which is great. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to you all a lot. Whenever you have questions, definitely ask me the question. But when you're not speaking, if you could hit mute just because of the feedback, that would be great. So if everybody could hit mute. But whenever the panel, you guys have questions, jump in, and I'll be asking the panel a lot of questions as well. Also in the audience, please make sure that you're asking questions because I'm going to go to the audience for questions. And by the way, LinkedIn, I could see you. Periscope, I could see you. YouTube, I could see you. Facebook, I could see you. And then on top of that, if you are asking me questions and I'm not able to see them or I'm not able to get to them, but someone else in the audience see that question, you can answer it. Go ahead and answer that, right? We're a community. Okay. We're a big community. So now 10 steps, in my humble opinion, they are 10 steps to build a multi-million-dollar business without venture funding. And I'm not going to go down and read all my receipts, but I've built 3 of these companies. Now, I've had lots of dismal failures, but I've built 3 companies that have done over 1 million in sales. One got to $15 million in sales. And so this model that I'm using, or this model, these steps that I'm going to walk you through, are all of the steps that I used each time, right? And I want to underscore that each business was built without venture funding. It was built without bank loans. It was built without any outside capital, right? So let's go down and let's start it. The first is this. This hands down is the most important factor. This is like where it begins. There's no question whatsoever. And here's what you got to ask yourself when you're getting ready to start a business, right? Before we even get into the steps, you have to ask yourself this. I'm going to come back to you ladies in a second. You have to, oh my gosh, look at the light behind me. It's crazy. Looks like the Lord is coming down behind me. See, this is London. This is London, right? It was all dark and gloomy. So it was great for me to open this up. And now the sun comes out. But here's the question that you want to ask yourself. You want to ask yourself, do you believe that you can learn everything that is required along the way of building your business? Or do you believe that there's limitations, you won't be able to learn everything, right? You can't do it all. This is a fundamental question, because if you fundamentally believe that there are limitations, you can only grow to a certain size, or because of your education, there's only a certain amount of things you can do, or because of your network, there is only a certain amount of growth that you can have. If you believe any of that, that means that you have a fixed mindset, or what could be considered a closed mindset. And I'm going to tell you this, if you're trying to start a business and you have a closed mindset, or you're trying to grow a business and you have a closed mindset, it's just not going to work. It's like point blank, it's not going to work. And so the best thing that you can do before you begin is to begin to open up that mindset. Now, how do you open up that mindset? And by the way, even if you already have what you consider to be an open mindset, you still want to be, wide open. So how do you do that? It's really three things, right? Really three things. One is get around people who are inspirational, get around people who are aspirational, right? Who you can look up to, and get around people who are instructional. If you get around aspirational, instructional, and inspirational people, that's going to open up your mindset. On top of that, Carol Dweck wrote a great book called Mindset. Actually, my wife just read Mindset, and Jill said, it was crazy. Jill was like, oh my God, I've had a closed mindset my entire life, right? And so not really though, but she thinks she has. But that book helped her tremendously. So this is the first place that you want to go, is you want to open up the mindset. Okay, you want to open up the mindset. Now let's move on to the next. This is before we even get going. This is very important for everybody to know, is this little thing called Blue Ocean. Now, this was a book that I think it came out in oh my God, early 2000s, right? I think I read it around 2010, 2011. And Blue Ocean strategy is something that's taught all the time in business school. But here's what I want you to think about. Don't think one, if you want to read the book, it's still a great read today. But here's the bottom line with Blue Ocean strategy. There are most people who start a business in a market where there's already competitors, right? So that's like saying, I want to start a pen business, or I want to start a microphone business, right? Whatever it may be, they're picking businesses that already have existing competitors. But then there are blue ocean strategies, blue ocean businesses. A blue ocean is where you have identified a person, right? You've identified a consumer that is not, their pain point is not being spoken to. And on top of it, you figure out a way to address that pain point, because that's really what entrepreneurship is, right? It's about solving problems, solving pain points. If you could figure out a way to address a pain point that has not been addressed before, especially in the way that you want to address it, that is blue ocean. That's blue ocean. And this is how you want to begin. Because if you can begin this way, you are going to be able to grow faster. You're going to be able to charge more. And you're going to be able to create what's called first mover advantage. And first mover advantage is very important in business. So blue ocean strategy is a strategy that will basically accelerate your growth, right? So this is blue ocean strategy. Very, very, very important. All right. Next up, let's get into, by the way, I want to, let me give you a quick example of blue ocean. Okay. Let me give you a quick example. When my wife and I started the matchmaking agency, in 2008, right? So we started a matchmaking agency. And at that time, like matchmaking in 2008, what? Everybody was doing matchmaking. Matchmaking is the second oldest profession in the world, right behind prostitution, right? So like matchmaking has been around for a long time. So you think, okay, how can you create a blue ocean strategy in matchmaking, Paul? Like how do you do something like that? Well, the key to doing that is to identify a consumer who has a need that has not been addressed yet. What was fascinating to me in 2008 is that, in particular, Black women were being literally segregated against in the matchmaking industry. It was an unknown rule among a lot of matchmakers in 2008 not to take on Black women as clients. And there's lots of reasons that, like, lots of the most ridiculous reasons that you could think of that people were using for it. Like, oh, there's just not enough Black men. You know, there's just, oh yeah, black women don't mess around because they don't mess around and they're very litigious, right? They'll sue you, right? There's all these reasons why a lot of matchmakers were not taking on Black women. It was very hard to be a Black woman and actually get a matchmaker. So that was a blue ocean strategy to identify a consumer who has a pain point and there's no product in the marketplace or no service in the marketplace to address that consumer. And here's all I want to say right now about for back in the day. By the way, I have a lot of matchmaking friends, right? I'm, prominent in the industry. So I'm not turning my thumb at any of my friends who have had that who don't have that policy. But for all my matchmaking people who had that policy, I just wanted to drop this on you real quick. Essence, just last week, here's the last couple that I matched. And here they are right here. Jason, Madeline, at their wedding. That is them. Essence just covered them. And they actually talked about their matchmaking experience at my agency. So just to show you that it's like blue ocean strategy is a massive win. All right, let's start. Okay, so now we're about to start. The first step to creating a multi-million-dollar company is this. All right, now panel, I'm getting ready to come to you, and audience, I'm getting ready to come to you right now too. This is the first step. The first step is you must find an acute pain point. Notice, I didn't say you need to figure out what your logo is going to be. I didn't say you got to figure out what your business card should look like. You got to figure out what forget any of that. Forget any of that. All you need to focus on is where is there an acute pain point in the industry? Now, a lot of us don't know what an acute pain point is. So let's test our panel real quick. There we go. I see it already. I see LaToya smiling, right? I see Chantel smiling. Ebony looks like she's ready. She looks like she's ready. So here we go. All right. So now, ladies, you could take the mic off mute, and I want you to tell us real quick. So this is like, I'm just going to flash a product up, okay, on the screen, and I want you to tell everybody what you believe the pain point is for that product. Okay? Are you guys clear on that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay. Now, remember, everybody watching, right? You do the same thing. We got, what is it? Almost 2,000 people watching. So we need all of y'all to jump in on this one too. Okay, so the panel is ready. Here we go. Ready? What pain point does this product solve? Bam.
Male dysfunction, like male bedroom dysfunction.
Okay, we got male bedroom. She didn't say male
sexual
kitchen.
dysfunction.
She didn't say male closet.
Sexual dysfunction, or in a nicer way, the pain point it solves is men and women being able to come together in a cohesive, uninterrupted, longer way.
Also, it could be the pain point is addressing the insecurity that one might have without taking this product. addressing insecurities.
Okay. Ebony, what do we think?
I think they covered it. I think it is addressing sexual dysfunction in men discreetly, in a way that they don't have to broadcast it or damage their ego.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We like it. Now the audience is saying a million things, but the first is Ebony was like, Chantel, that was so polite. I'm telling you, every Jamaican woman I know is like the most polite person until you get them married. Like they're the most polite. Yeah. So we got lack of intimacy, we got physical intimacy, we got erectile dysfunction, right? So this is everybody saying this is what the pain point is, okay? Right? I will say that I disagree with 98% of what I see the audience saying is the pain point, right? I disagree, but we're going to come to it. All right, we're going to come back to it. Let me hit you with another product, okay? Another product. Ready, ladies? What pain point does this solve?
Hunger. Home cooked meal that you don't have to cook.
All right. So the problem though is what? You're saying is hunger, or?
I think it's more of getting home cooked food fast and affordably.
Yeah. Or southern food that you can have at home, without necessarily having the skill to create that kind of food.
Okay.
And I see it as simple as access. They've made something that's really good, incredibly accessible, fast.
Yeah.
It's incredibly good. There you go. All right, I like it. My man Carl, who was in my mastermind in 2018, was like, "Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, Carl, you remember this? Okay." So we see a lot of people saying hunger. I see quick dinner saves time. Comfort food, right? So here are the answers that we see, okay? Once again, I love you, right? I'm telling you, everyone watching, I love you. But I disagree with 98% of what I see in the comments, all right? Let me do the last one. Let me do the last one. What pain point does this solve? This is so Match.com. Match.com.
Finding the right partner or dating.
We all are pausing on this one.
Okay, finding the right partner. All right, audience, help them out. They said, okay, I see Madison, J. Matt, I'm sorry, is saying lack of companionship. We've got loneliness. Brandon saying loneliness. Oh, we got a lot of loneliness. I
think it's dating as an adult, though, like the difficulty
relationship
with someone with all your other life responsibilities, making it easier to date or get out there.
Okay.
I know you're going to disagree, so I'm trying to think outside of the box.
I think maybe it helps to with just communication in general as a bridge to communicating better with a person you might be interested in.
Okay, communication. What about what L.A. Williams says right here? If you're horny, does that help too, or?
we got Tinder.
Not a pain point. I think it takes the complication out of dating.
All right, takes the complication out of dating. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's get into let's get into my thoughts on this. All right. So now, just real quick, the reason why, just to tell everybody, the reason why I said I disagreed with 98% of it, and Kavan, I see you in there is like, all right, who's the 2%? Is that here's what you have to remember. Okay, remember that if you want to be successful in business, then you solve a pain point. If you want to be very successful in business, you solve an acute pain point, right? But if you want to be uberly successful in business, multi-millions of dollars of sales, then you need to solve an acute pain point, but you have to solve the deepest layer of the pain point. It's not about the external, it's about the deepest layer of the pain point. So now, If you so what are the deeper layers? Here's my opinion. My opinion on Match, my opinion on Kentucky Fried Chicken, and my opinion on Viagra is that they all actually solve the same deep layered pain point, in my opinion, right?
Oh, I get it now.
In my opinion, they all solve the same, and these companies know it, and they know it. And let me tell you what it is. If you remember this, I talked about the 5 basic fears. Please, everyone who's thinking about launching a business, you've already launched your business. This will save you. This will save your business right here. This one slide will save your business. Why? Because we all share these 5. Real quick, let me just and this will be in the newsletter when I write it. But real quick, loss of autonomy. That's the fear of being restricted, confined, trapped. Right. So that's someone who's fearing maybe being in a committed relationship. Then you've got ego. Ego is when you want to feel worthy, you want to feel value, you want to feel connected. You don't want to feel ashamed, right? Separation is the fear of abandonment and rejection. Mutilation, that is the fear that we are physically unsafe and we're under attack. And then there's extinction, which is what a lot of us feel right now with coronavirus, and that is that we'll be annihilated. Right. And so that's the reason why we take vitamins, that kind of thing. In my opinion, all of those companies focus on ego. They focus on connectedness. They focus on not being ashamed. They focus on being worthy. By the way, and we don't have time to go deep into all of these, but this is exactly what the matchmaking business was. In the pain point that we were looking at with the matchmaking, a lot of competitor matchmakers would say, "Oh, really? People like these women, they're lonely, right? Or oh, these women, they want a sexual partner, whatever it may be." But where we focused on the hope and the desire to be connected. That was exactly what we were selling, and so therefore, you have a better ability to create a product, to create a service, and create a marketing strategy around that. So that is just real quick, is that the first is that you have to know what that pain point is. And you want to do everything you can to make sure that you are speaking to that pain point. And remember this about creating wealth, right? Creating a lot of value in your company is that if you, and we said this in several sessions, if you want to become a millionaire, you solve a million problems, right? That is exactly what you're doing. So you as an entrepreneur, you're focused on solving problems. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 2. Now we have our acute pain point, our deep layered pain point, one of those 5 fears. We know what it is, right? We know what it is. Now we want to identify a single avatar. Identify a single avatar. Now, I've been talking about avatars a lot, right? You all know I've been talking about avatars a lot. And I want to ask you ladies right now, right? I want to ask you, when you think about a great avatar, what are the ingredients of a great avatar? Or you could give me one.
What you need, or they want what you're offering.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. The ingredients, or what are the categories of creating a great avatar? How do you go about creating an avatar? So say, Ebony, in your business, you now have identified, okay, here's what a pain point is, a deep pain point. Now you need to create an avatar. So now how do you go about creating that avatar? What do you do? How do you do that?
I would research in my case, looking at businesses, some of the things that I see that they need or are lacking, whether it's marketing strategies, whether it's finding the right customers, market studies. So I would look for the companies that look like they're struggling with those sorts of things. And that's who I'm going to target.
Okay, so now let's stop right there. So is that because your business, you sell to other businesses? Is that what it is? Okay, so
Yeah.
now, okay, so this is, I'm so glad you answered this question, because there are a lot of people watching who have these B2B companies where they business to business, they're selling to businesses. But here's what I want you all to remember about the avatar. Notice what I wrote here. Identify a single avatar. Identify a single avatar. What am I talking about here? What I'm talking about is that even if you sell to a business, there is a human being behind the business that is going to make the purchase. No matter if you have a B2B company, a B2C, which is a business to consumer company, no matter what it is, your avatar is always a single person. It's one person. That one person has a pain point. And the most important thing that we can remember when we're building out our avatars is that they have a pain, that one person has a pain point, right? They have a pain point. And by the way, you probably can't see the specifics of this, but overall, when you're building out an avatar, you are identifying a single person. So the best thing to do when you're creating an avatar is to find one person that you believe represents the pain, one person that best represents the pain. And then your entire next steps are focused on that one person. Another mistake that a lot of us make when we're creating an avatar is we say, oh, there are 5 different people that I can market to, or there's 6 different people, so we create 6 different avatars. Long term, you can have lots of avatars, but when you are starting, step 2 is you identify just one person, and you focus your entire effort on that one person. Now, the catch is that you have to know that there are enough people in the world that are like that one person so that you'll have a big enough market, right? You'll have a big enough number of consumers to buy what you're selling. So that's the catch to this. But the point is that you want to identify one person, and all of your product testing, all of your development, all of your marketing, all of your social media posts are going to be focused on this one avatar, okay? The one avatar. So let me just stop real quick. Ladies, any questions on just the avatar piece to this?
Yeah. So when you are creating that single avatar, how do you, okay, so for example, what I'm trying to do, I would be selling B2C, but then I would also need to have a B2B aspect as well. So do I solely just focus on the end of the cycle, which is to the consumer, or do I evaluate the whole kind of model all the way through? And then also, when you're in the process of creating avatars, how do you kind of limit yourself? Because one can extend into another. And, if you are thinking about, let's just say you're creating your avatar and her name is Chantel. Chantel could make 30K a year, but she could also make 150. So do you just keep it that vague, or, she could live? Yeah. So yeah. How niche do we make the avatar?
Great question. You want to go as niche as possible, right? Niche as possible. It's actually called a MVC, a minimum viable consumer. That's exactly what you want. And the reason why you want to go as niche as possible is because the nicher you get, the higher likely that consumer is not having their needs solved, right? The more niche you get, the higher likelihood that consumer is not having it solved. The next thing is, when you're starting your business, it sounds like, Chantel, like you have an elaborate, like you're going to go you were like, I'm going to B2B, then I'm going to B2C, then I'm going to go up here, then I'm going to turn left, then I'm going to turn right. That's cool. That's the vision. That's why you're the CEO. You have vision. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's baby steps. And our first step is pain point. Our second step is just one avatar, because we can't get to the B2B, B2C, B2C. We can't get to the 100th person until we have fully met the needs of one person. Okay. So it's one avatar, one person. Okay. Latoya, do you have something, or?
Yeah. So what I want to say is, So I'm noticing, so I'm coaching clients now behind the scenes before I fully went public, which is a great thing because that shows just my personality and the value that I'm already bringing without all the extra. But as I'm talking to people, I think as I'm understanding you, the consistency that I'm noticing is that the people that come to me that want help is that they have a lack of worthiness, but a strong desire for change. And so when I break it down and we talk, it comes from they don't feel worthy. And that can go into other places that might extend itself to family, career, and things like that. But at its core, they don't feel worthy. However, it's been ingrained in them, but they're with me because they have a desire. They want it to be, they want to show up differently for their life. I feel like that's
the pain point. So here's the beauty is, so then LaToya, you take only one person from that group. So you have to pick, is it going to be a man? Is it going to be a woman? Is it going to be a black man? Or right, is it going to be the 30-year-old? Like, you pick one person and that becomes your avatar. And here's the hardest part when it comes to being a business owner in the beginning stages is you have to now almost block out everyone else. Even though some people are going to be saying, hey, can you sell this to me? Or can you do this? You have to block all of that out and you have to laser focus on that one person, okay? That one person. Now, let's keep going. So now we have our avatar, okay? We've got the avatar. We're good on the avatar. The next step is we have to create our MVP. Now, this is the step that is interesting. A lot of our speakers, I'm sorry, ladies, if you guys can hit mute on the mic, but I'm gonna come back to you in just a moment. A lot of our speakers have talked about MVP, minimum viable product. What I love about Kezia is when she was on last is she was saying, this is the big thing that she believes a lot of Black business in particular needs to do. Now, here's the reason why an MVP is so important is because the number one reason why, actually, let me ask the audience, what is the number one reason why new businesses fail? What is the number one reason why new businesses fail? And panel, ladies, tell us, what do you think the number one reason is why new businesses fail? What is that? What would your guess be? Just in one quick, one or two words. What is it?
Overextending their capabilities.
All right. Ebony says overextending.
overprepared.
Poor marketing.
Over-prepared, right? We have a lot of people agreeing with you guys. I see on Periscope, too many offerings, right? Kim is like lack of strategy. Brooke is saying customer service, right? So there's a lot. Oh, wow. There's a lot of comments going right now. I love you all, but that's not the reason. I feel like I'm the doomsayer. This is, by the way, can I say this? I love saying, I love you all, but all right. You know what the number one reason is? The number one reason new businesses fail is no market need. No market need. This is the number one reason why new businesses fail. There's no need for your product. You think you like, just because you like it and your mama likes it doesn't mean the world is going to like it. Doesn't mean the world is going to consume. So the smartest thing for you to do is, after you have the pain point, after you have the avatar, then you figure out how you can create a minimum viable product. That is the product or the service, right? LaToya, in your case, the service, where you give the least amount of effort and the least amount of resources to be able to test that avatar that you've just selected wants that product, needs that product, right? That's what it's about. The MVP stage is the most beautiful, magical stage there is. By the way, I have gone through in launching, my wife and I have launched this new social enterprise called Knowledge Share. Part of what we've been doing the last 8 weeks is going through an MVP process, right? It's a simple email for you all that have signed up to Knowledge Share. It's just a freaking email that you sign up to. It's not a lot of effort, not a lot of energy, not a lot of resources. But because of the success of that MVP, we've now allocated money to build out a website. The point here is you need to create an MVP. So, ladies, let me ask you this, all right? Let me ask you this. Do you know what that is? Do you know what this is? What is this?
Chocolate cake.
Rum cake.
Rum.
Oh my gosh! Who said chocolate cake? Who said chocolate cake? Ebony. Ebony. Ebony, my soul is hurting. My soul is hurting. This is no. This is, you could call it black cake. You call it Jamaican rum cake. You can call it. This is what we do, right? This is our cake right here. This is Jamaican cake right here. Okay, this is the best cake on the planet right here. Now, I want to walk through. Ebony's like, all right, I don't know about this.
I don't know about that.
But Ebony, let me tell you. But now, here's the question though. The question is this. I want you to tell me. Let me test y'all to make sure that you know what an MVP is. Okay. Now, true story. My son Liam, right? He thinks he's more Jamaican than Bob Marley, right? This guy feels like he's the most Jamaican guy on the planet. Okay. Now, he's 6 years old. I think for his 4th birthday party, he wanted to invite, I don't know, let's say 100 friends and family members over, but mostly little like 4-year-olds he wanted to invite over. So say 100 4-year-olds he wanted to invite. And because he loves Jamaica so much, he wanted to have Jamaican rum cake, right? He wanted to have Jamaican cake. Now, here's the question. You know that it would be expensive to buy a rum cake for 100 guests, right? My wife and I had this at our wedding, and it can cost you $1,000 if you want a big enough cake. So most business owners, if we're thinking about this in a business context, they just go out and say, oh, my son wants the cake. I'm going to go spend $1,000 on this massive cake for 100 people, 100 guests. But if we were creating an MVP to test, how would we test this? And let me give you a hint. The avatar is Liam's childhood friends. So the 4-year-olds are the avatar. What could we do to test, to create an MVP to be able to test to see, should we even have this cake at the birthday party? What could we do? An audience, if you think, by the way, oh my God, now I see a terrible Trini JA cake debate breaking out, but it's all good. But yeah. Someone said, "Won't this cake make you drunk?" Yeah, that's why he wanted it. Right? He make it. That's why he wanted it. But let me ask you, what could we do to test it? Just what do you think? Something that we could do to test it.
Price cupcakes instead of the whole cake, or
you could have a small group come over for to test the cake to see how they like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have some kids come over after school. Yeah.
Are we trying to solve, will the kids like the cake?
Right.
Or are we trying to solve the cost of the cake?
All right. This is a good point. I like that. So I'm trying to solve whether or not it's worth my time to invest $1,000 into it. And I'm going to base that on whether or not the kids will eat this cake.
So maybe you make cupcakes and you bring it to the school and they have it like, his class, his friends, assuming they're in the same class, or you invite. So if he's got 100 friends on a list, you say, okay, pick like your top 5, like your best friends, and then they come over before the party and you guys serve the cake on a much smaller level to see, probability. If all 5 of them like it, then maybe you can make it again. If it's worth the investment, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's all I got because they're 4. So.
Yeah. No. I like it. So you all are saying the same thing. You're saying that we should take a sample size in cupcakes or whatever it may be, and then take just a sample size of the big cake, and then give it to a sample size of the kids, right?
Yes.
Now let me ask you. Here's the $1 million question. What are we looking for? What are we looking to see in the MVP process? How do we know it's going to be worth my time to spend the money on the big cake?
If they like the cake and want more of the cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want that at the party.
All
I'm
right.
looking for the value. I'm looking for the value that I see from them tasting the cake, but also that the children that I'm going to choose are going to be, I'm going to also take time to choose specific kids as well too.
Okay. So Ebony, I want to go with, and I'm with it. I agree with you both, Latoya and Ebony. Ebony, you just said, I want to see if they eat the cake and want more, right? So let me ask you, what happens if they eat the cake, but they don't want more? What happens, y'all? What do you think, y'all? Tell me in the audience, what do you think? Let's say they eat the cake, but they're like, yeah, this is cool. This is a great cake, but they don't ask for more. What does that mean?
Then the demand for the cake isn't there.
But they ate the cake though, Ebony. They ate it.
It's cake. Yeah, they ate the cake.
So what do you think? You think so the demand isn't there. So that means we don't invest in the big cake then.
Yeah. As a person who's worked in retail, I have a lot of customers who buy and never come back. So I'm only concerned about the ones who continue to keep on coming back. It's not of a value to keep focusing on that client or those kids or this cake.
Okay. Can I say this real quick? Time out. Everybody in the audience fighting over who originated this cake. Please stop. It's peace and love, y'all. We know Jamaicans originated. It came from Jamaica. We already know this, but no. All right. Now let me tell you this. You three are on top of things. And I was trying to push you, like Ebony, I was trying to push you, but you were absolutely right. If they ate the cake, but they didn't want more, that means the demand is not there, right? That means the demand is not there. This is so important, is that when you are creating an MVP, you want to see that your solution has fit the acute problem. To know it's fit the acute problem is there's going to be a demand for more. The kids are going to be eating the cake and be like, oh, Miss Latoya, Miss Ebony, Miss Chantel, I need to have more quick injected in my veins. I need some more rum cake. Like they're going to be running around. Where's the rum cake? Where's the rum cake? You need to see that excitement in demand. If you don't see that, you got a lukewarm product. You got a lukewarm service. And this is why there's no product need for most products, because no one's gone through this to test to see, is there really a dire need? You know what? One thing that I did with Knowledge Share, this is very dirty, but I'm going to tell y'all, this is very dirty. We put Knowledge Share out, and then I intentionally told Jill, I said, let's not send out we were sending out a Knowledge Share email every week. I said, Jill, let's go 2 weeks and not send out anything. Let's not send out anything. Let's not even tell anybody why we're not doing it. Why did I do that? I wanted to see what people be messaging like, where's the Knowledge Share email? Where is it? I need it. Where is it? And that's exactly what happened. And that's when I knew. I said, I know there's something here because you're missing it. This is the key, right? This is the key. So when you're testing your product, this is exactly what you want to do, is you want to make sure that you see massive demand. So now let's keep going. Let's say, ladies, okay, you've now tested, you've created your MVP, and there's massive demand. Now, what do we do next? Real simple is that we keep iterating and testing until we have reached that level of demand, Ebony, that you were talking about. So let's say that we put the cupcakes out there and the kids are not like, oh, I need it. How do we then iterate? Maybe we put some more sugar in it. Maybe if it's my kids, I put more rum in it. Right? Maybe we put more fruit in it. Maybe we put the little icing, which I just don't like the icing on the cake. Like that's the one thing I don't like about these fruit cakes is I don't like the icing on it. But maybe we put the icing on it. Maybe we put icing in kids' names and color. Like you keep testing, you keep iterating until the consumer can't live without it. When your avatar can't live without your product or your service, that's when you know you have a business. And I want to repeat that. When your avatar can't live without your product, that's when you know you have a business. If your avatar can live without your product or without your service, you don't have a strong business. You may have a lukewarm business. You may have a side hustle, right? But you don't have a strong business. The key is you got to make sure that avatar can't live without it. Now, once we have tested, So ladies, Chantel, Ebony, Latoya, let's say that you've already picked out the pain point, you've got the avatar, you've tested your MVP, and you've gone back and forth, you've iterated on it, and you know your avatar can't live without it. Remember, it's just one avatar that we're focused on. Then what do we do next? This is what we do. The come to Jesus moment. This is the come to Jesus moment. This is the moment, by the way, this is the moment that nobody wants to really have. Nobody wants to talk about. But let me say this in big brotherly love. Most of y'all, I'm not even saying some, okay? Most of y'all at this moment in time have no business running your business. And I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it right now. Most of y'all don't have any business leading your business at this moment. Why? Maybe closed mindset, right? Why? Maybe because, right, you haven't done the app, you haven't figured out the pain point, the avatar, you haven't tested the MVP. Like most of y'all are not in that phase yet. But chances are there are people in your social circle, people in your network that actually are better equipped at doing it. Or maybe you are in position to run part of your business. Maybe you're the creative. Maybe you have a lot of great ideas, but when it comes to the administration and execution, you're just no good at that, right? Maybe when it comes to the numbers thing, you're like, I don't want to do that. Or maybe, you love everything about your business, but sales, whatever it may be, you have to remember that there's no successful business that's built alone. We have so much pride. You have an idea. You say, this is my idea. I want to be Reginald Lewis, right? This is my idea. I'm going to do this. But for a lot of us, it's much better to partner. It's much better to partner. This is this come to Jesus moment where you're saying to yourself, it's better for me to partner. On top of it, maybe you say, you know what? Maybe I should be just more of, I should still co-own the situation, but I should be a silent partner in this, right? Or maybe you say, this is such a great idea. I see Nicola Bell, or I see Carla Dupins out here. I see what they're doing. Carl Dupins, maybe I should bring the idea to them and we should work together. There are too many businesses out here. Kezia said it too last time, and she was saying, look, we have millions and millions of businesses, but we have only 100,000 in terms of the Black community that are viable for scale, right? We are much stronger together. The point here is that after you have a real product and service that serves a need, you have to evaluate, are you the right leader to take it to the next level? Congratulations, right? You have a great product. You have the opportunity for a great product, but you're the right person. The last thing about this come to Jesus moment, and this is something that I am thankful for, but I see in a lot of my mentees that they don't have. And that is, do you have friends and family? Do you have an inner circle that is supporting you? I will never forget, I had just graduated from business. This is 2007, 2006. I had just left working for Enver Ugel, a billionaire, right? I had just graduated from Georgetown, right? Everyone was telling me, Paul, like, go to corporate. And I said, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to become Hitch. I think I'm going to become a matchmaker. I remember specifically having basically a round table at my house. I invited a lot of people over to my house. We were drinking beer and wine and eating pizza. And I announced to everybody, look, I think I'm going to become a matchmaker. What do y'all think? And I went around the table. I'm going to tell you this. Every single person in my life told me not to become a matchmaker, with the exception of 3 people, right? My best friend, Andre Smith, who passed away, but Andre was like, Paul, you should do this. My mom, she was like, okay, I can see this. And my wife, Jill, has always been that gangster. Like, Jill is always like, All right, if you're gonna rob a bank, I'm gonna drive the car. I'm gonna be in the, like, she's always been that person. So Jill was like, let's do it. If you think we could do it, let's do it, right? I had the support of 3 people. I could not have gone forward without that support. It would never have worked because people would have been in my ear all day long saying why this can't happen, why that won't happen. And that weighs on you. It weighs on you. You must have a support network, especially being a Black entrepreneur in this world where the odds are already against you, where people are already giving you stats like, oh, most businesses fail, but Black businesses fail at a higher rate, or Black people don't get funded, or like, we already have this constant just crap negative content coming at us. Is you need to have a crew, you need to have support. And so this is that come to Jesus moment of, you know what? I got this, right? I got this. And so you need to have a team. That's all I'm saying. So this is where you evaluate, are you the right person for this? That's an honest discussion. Are you the right person? Do you have the right mentality? Do you have the right skills to bring this forward? What is your role? What are the roles that you need? And then what does your support system look like so that when you go home and you've had that day where you have no sales and you are now 6 months into this and you have to tell yourself, you know what? We can't pay this mortgage. We can't pay this mortgage for the 3rd month, right? Jill and I were in that space. We can't pay this mortgage for the 3rd month. You got to be with a support system that says, all right, but let's keep going. Forget it. We'll figure out a way to get the mortgage, but let's keep going. You need to have that person. If you don't have that person or those people, you can't make it. You can't make it. All right, let's keep going. Next up. So now you have the team. Okay. So let's regroup a little bit here, ladies. Let's regroup. So we have actually, ladies, let me ask you, what do we have right now? What do we have? We've got our pain point. So we got our mentality, open mindset. What do we have next? We've identified the pain point. What else do we have?
We've got our MVP.
But before the MVP,
Avatar.
All right.
Avatar.
Then our MVP.
Okay.
And then we've got the learn, build, measure. So the AB portion.
Right. We've tested the MVP. We know that everyone loves it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we come to Jesus moment.
Here we go.
Evaluate and conclude what we're doing.
There we go.
And then the supportive circle.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's all that come to Jesus. Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is good. So we're halfway home. We got the first 5 steps. Okay. First 5 steps. Now, let's go. The next step is we get funding.
What?
We get funding. Now, notice I said we get funding, but also notice I started at the top talking about how I kind of despise funders right now. So you might be saying, Paul, what are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's what I want you to remember about funding. Every idea needs capital. You can't move your idea without capital. Right? You can't do it, period. You can't do it. You can't move your idea without capital. But the question is, where do you get the capital? Here's where I suggest you get the capital. The first source that you always want to look for capital are your customers. Your customers, right? So you want to already have a product that you know kicks off enough profit margin to fund your operation. So you want to have a product that you know kicks that off. So that's one. Secondly is friends and family. It gets real with friends and family. And by the way, I'm not out here talking about, okay, how do we raise hundreds of thousands of dollars? I'm talking about how do you raise $5,000 just to get your product out, right? How do you raise $2,000 if you don't have it, right? You've got the friends and family. But then third, I just want to underscore how, actually, let me back up on friends and family. Right now, friends, you have a lot of friends right now. You have a lot of friends. Point and example is when there was a woman, Chambray, who came on here. You guys probably remember Sham not too long ago. She needed resources, and this community completely came to her aid, right? Nobody had known her previously in here, but she had legal advice. She had people making introductions, people buying her book, right? This is the type of support that I'm saying. But here's how you have to get the support. You have to be vulnerable enough to ask for it. This is the key. You have to be vulnerable enough to say, I need A, B, and C. This is very, very important. And when I say funding, by the way, too, I'm not just talking about cash. I'm talking about all types of resources and support. The last bit about the funding is about, oh, look at this. Here she is right here. Jan right here. She's talking about how the community came through, right? And that was only because she was vulnerable enough to step up and say, this is the help that I need. Okay. So that is the one. And then the last thing that I want to say real quick, and oh yeah, ladies, if you could hit the mic, please, to hear the feedback. The last thing that I want to say is crowdsourcing is also massive for funding right now. Now, remember, you have to have already built up a bit of an audience already. When I say audiences, you need to have 100, 200 people who have been following and admiring your work, which is why your content game is so important right now. But crowdsourcing is very popular. Go onto any one of these Kickstarter sites, Start Engine, whatever it may be. If it's crowdsourcing for equity, you'll see that there are hundreds of thousands of small businesses that are getting low levels of support, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 from the people, right? So from the people. So that's how you get that nominal, that quick funding. All right, that quick funding. Now, ladies, okay, so you have your funding, whether that is maybe the attorney that's giving you pro bono support, or you've raised $5,000, right, to get your product out a little bit more. Now, what do? What is the next step? The next step out of the 10 steps is this. This is the step that most people skip too. They just skip it, right? They say, okay, I've got a product. Let me just put up a Facebook ad and then I'm just going to boost up my post and then I'm just going to start selling my product. No, that's not how you do it. Once you have identified everything that we've talked about, then you create your go-to market strategy. And your go-to market strategy is real simple. Your go-to market strategy is just basically, how do you take your product that you've tested and your avatar loves it? They're eating it up, right? How do you take that single product and how do you just get that to your customer? What is your plan to get that product to your customer? That's it. That's what a go-to market strategy is. But what makes the go-to market strategy a little bit more complicated is that you have to figure out, how do you get that product to that customer in markets all around the country or all around the world. Now, there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of go-to market strategy. We don't have the time to go through all of that today. But here's the one area that I want you to stay focused on. How much, and by the way, I ask every single one of my mentees, by the way, if anyone is going to be in the mastermind and you're going to be in the growth mastermind, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is this. So get ready. I'm going to ask you, what is your customer acquisition cost? What is your customer acquisition cost? Now, Chantel, Latoya, Ebony, tell me, why is that even important? First, what is customer acquisition cost? What is that? What is
how much it costs you to find and retain a new customer?
Yes. Okay, Chantel, you said it perfectly, and I want to underscore something that you said that a lot of people leave out. How much is it to find, and you secure the customer, but you also said to maintain and sustain them, because there's a service cost to that too. So that's your customer acquisition cost. Now, Latoya, Ebony, why is that even important? Why is your customer acquisition cost important?
You need to know what your profit is. What's your return on your investment? So if you need to know if it's worth the cost of running this business. Is it worth the cost of trying to get all these customers? And then transition that to how much is your service, and in the end, are you going to benefit? It has to be worth.
This is exactly what she's saying. You can use this in different categories, but it's from everything to what I'm actually providing to what I have to do around it to provide it, what I have to do afterwards. I'm counting all of this to seeing if what I'm charging is valuable.
Okay. So now let me ask you, real talk, ladies. Do you know in any business experimentation that you've done, do you know exactly what your customer acquisition cost is? No. Okay. Fair. I appreciate the honesty. Let me tell you what, 99.9999% of people, entrepreneurs, don't know what their customer acquisition cost is. All right. So you're not alone. My point here, and so thank you for that, by the way. We're about to go into one of the steps is about profitability too, right? But I just want to underscore something about customer acquisition cost is that you have to know exactly how much it costs for you to get the customer and then hold the customer. But here's the trick. The trick is that when we're talking about all of these steps right now, I'm not talking about having multiple products and multiple services. When you are starting a business, you are laser focused on just one product in one service. And it's very important for you to know every detail of that product and every detail of that service. Notice, we know exactly what the pain point is. We know exactly who our avatar is. We know how to speak to our avatar. We know that this particular product has a lot of demand from that avatar. We know what our go-to market strategy is, right? We now have almost a PhD. We have a master's degree in this particular, solving this particular pain point. So once we know what our customer acquisition cost is, we now know what we need to do in order to increase our profitability or lower our profitability. Because for the most part, when you're creating, a lot of you watching are creating services, there's not a lot of operational costs and cost of goods sold, which we'll talk about in a second. There's not a lot of that. It's really about how much does it cost for you to acquire. So long story short, you want to lower that cost as much as possible. Now, let me put these steps back on real quick, because one other part of this is the fact that we were talking about blue ocean strategy earlier, right? And I was saying how important blue ocean strategy is. If you have a blue ocean product, like our matchmaking product, how much is your customer acquisition cost, high or low? It's super low. It's almost non-existent. This is also why it's so important to have this blue ocean strategy, because you won't have a lot of cost associated with your product, right, at all in marketing it. So these are basic steps for go-to-market strategy. But what I want you to remember right now is your go-to-market strategy is, how do you take your product, get it in the hand of the consumer, and do it at the lowest cost possible? That's go-to-market strategy. So now, let's say that you've got it, okay? Chantel, Ebony, Latoya, you've got the go-to-market strategy. Remember, it's just one product now, one service now. Now you've got the strategy, you get the strategy out. What do you do? What's the next step? The next step is this. Now, you're probably wondering, why in the world do I have Hova right on this? Here's the reason why, is that here's something that I love about hip hop, and I think we have to take and borrow in entrepreneurship. Whenever you talk to an MC, I'm talking about an MC, a Jay-Z, a Nas, like whenever you talk to an MC, what they will tell you is that their whole objective is to be the greatest rapper, right? Period. Like they're always trying to battle. Like, if you like, one of my favorite artists of all time was Guru from Gangstar. And one of the things that I found to be interesting about Guru, who's now passed away, but if you look at his life, he thought he was the best MC in the world. And what he would do is he would show up, like DJ Premier would tell stories where he would show up to parties, and Nas might be there, a Jay-Z, a Biggie might be there, and it's just a party. They're at the club, whatever. And Guru would always want to battle, always, to the point where DJ Premier didn't even want to bring Guru around, because he was like, man, you always want to battle. Like, that's all. Why? Because Guru wanted to he wanted to show that he was number one. This is the mentality we have to have as an entrepreneur. You have a market. Your objective should not be to simply be a player in your market. Your objective should be top one in your market. Your objective should be greatest of all time. You should be the GOAT of your market. That is it. You can't stop until you are the GOAT of your market. And this is where a lot of us as entrepreneurs, a lot of us as Black entrepreneurs fail in this lane. And this is what I mean. What a lot of us will do is we'll create a product or a service and we'll get some traction. We'll get some sales. And then we'll immediately start the second product, right? Like I see it all the time. It's like, yeah, I'm a coach, but now I'm going to start selling t-shirts. Oh, but now I'm going to start selling, now I'm going to start selling lip gloss, right? We just like create all of these things. And once again, there's no need for it. But the point is that when you are growing a multi-million-dollar business, you stay laser focused on providing that one singular product or service until you are top 1 or 2 or 3. Okay. I'll give you top 1 or 2 or 3. Like Jay-Z, you could say, come on now. If I say let me ask the audience real quick. Who's the greatest rapper of all time? If you were to give me your top 3 list, you could just give me one. But if you were to give me your top 3, Jay-Z's probably going to land in your top 3, or maybe he'll land in your top 5. The point of the matter is you've got to be the Jay-Z of your marketplace. You can't be the Migos of your market. You can't do that. You want to be top 1, 2, or 3, right? In your market. Now, there's lots of advantages that come with being top 1, 2, or 3. But the number one advantage is the profitability, right? Profitability. Wow, I see a lot. People are saying Pac. I see Biggie. Oh wow, I see someone saying that Missy is the top. Okay. I haven't seen that before. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to next. Yeah, look at this. My man right here, Frank, is talking about read Microsoft's history. I think he's talking about how that's the objective. You think about Google or Facebook. Think about Facebook, for example. When Mark Zuckerberg decides to enter a new marketplace, when he decides to compete with TikTok, or he decides to compete with whoever it may be, do you think his thought is, oh yeah, how can we just get into that marketplace and be in the top 15? How can we be in the top 10? No. He's thinking, I don't want to be in that market unless we are number 1. Maybe I'll take number 2 or 3, but we need to be number 1. This is the mindset that we need to have. Okay, this is the mindset that we need to have. All right, next up is this. After we keep iterating our product, right? No, I can't do any rap. That's not me. See, I stick to my lane. That is not my lane. All right. So after you have focused on your product, and by the way, that could be months and years that you are focused. When my wife and I started our matchmaking business in 2008, it wasn't until, or 2008, 2009, it wasn't until 2015 that we were earnestly launching other products. So we were 10 toes deep on just focused on that one product. Now, what's next? Next is this. A lot of people don't like to look at this, right? A lot of people don't like to look at finance, right? But here's what you have to remember. You don't have the big businesses. And I mean, we could talk for hours about finance, which is my favorite thing to do, by the way. But the couple things that I want to say is big businesses that are publicly traded, they don't have to focus on profit. Okay. You don't have to focus on profit. You only have to focus on revenue, which is called top line. Okay. Actually, let me go back to this slide. All you have to do is focus on revenue, which is total revenue. That's it. You don't have to make any profit. A lot of publicly traded companies are not even profitable. But if you were like you and I, and you're a small business, you need to focus on your net profit. This is it. This is it. Now, there's gross profit, and then there's net profit. I don't want to go into super detail on this, but keep in mind that your cost of goods sold, which is the cost of sales, that is all of the costs that are associated with that product. And then your operational expenses are typically your fixed expenses, your fixed costs that come with just running your business. So, for example, in the matchmaking business, actually, Chantel, Ebony, Latoya, real quick, in the matchmaking business, give me an example of cost of sales, of a cost of sale in matchmaking. What's a cost of sale?
Like a membership, like a 3-month
website.
All right. So you're saying a website is a cost of sale.
So for you to have a matchmaking business, you need to have a website that people go to. You have to pay for that domain name. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So, and website, I hear you on that. I would not actually put website as a cost of sale, but I could see why people would say that. But give me another example as a cost of sale for and when I say for a matchmaking business, that's my fault. I shouldn't have said that. For my matchmaking product, right? So we had one product that was, you got, let's say, 5 matches for $6,500. So what's a cost of sale for that?
What about the acquisition cost to get those matches? So marketing to find those people.
Yes.
Any way that you're essentially pairing those people if you're doing like your own mixers and things like that. So yeah, that's what I think the answer is.
Okay. No, that's right. That would be one. What's another?
Facebook ads, or wherever you're promoting this, whether I don't know if you're printing flyers, posting them somewhere. So the cost of the paper, the ink, or taking it to Kinko's or something.
Hiring someone to manage these systems.
So hiring someone to manage could be operational expenses, right? But you guys are on it though, right? It's the actual cost of the salary for all the matchmakers that are working on that. It's the therapist that is working on that particular avatar, right? These are all cost of sales. They fluctuate. They're variable. They fluctuate given if we have a lot of clients or not, right? Then we have our operational expenses, which don't change. So the reason why, Ebony, I said your website is an operating expense and not a cost of goods sold, right? You see it now. It doesn't change no matter what, right? My point in this quick one is that we have to be good with our finance. And in terms of your business, you always have to remember what is your gross profit and what is your net profit. And the goal is you want to figure out how you can increase both. That's basically what you want to do. But really what you want to do is you want to figure out how you can laser focus on your gross profit. And what I say for small businesses, now it depends what you're selling, and this is going to vary greatly, but I say if you could be in that 15 to 50% category within your gross profit margin, then right there, you've got something. You've got a real business. Great. Clearly, if you have over 50%, that's great. But if your gross margins are 10%, 5%, 3%, 2%, chances are you have a business that's going to fail fairly quickly. Now, why do you need to know this? You need to know because as a business owner, you're always projecting forward. You're always thinking about what is coming. And so when you are creating your one product, right? You got Chantel, Ebony, Latoya, you got one product that you're focusing on, one product. You want to be laser focused on what is the gross margin of that product. Everything you should be doing over the years is to optimize the expense of it. So for example, in matchmaking, we started figuring out, okay, right? Instead of running all of these ads, it's cheaper and more effective if we hire one recruiter, right? Instead of assigning 5 different people on the team to work on a particular client, let's assign one person, but they get more responsibility, but they've reduced the amount of time. So therefore we have more, it costs less. The goal is you have to constantly be focused on how you can, manipulate that product or service to continue to shrink the cost and open up the margins. This is very important as a business owner. You are fixated on how you can do that. And that gets you to the last and final step in growing a multi-million-dollar business. And that's this, is that once you are, oh my God, I misspelled strategically. This is terrible. But once you have that profit, right? And you're number 1, 2, 3 in your category, then what you can do is you could take that profit, you could take that margin, and you could start reinvesting. But here's how I suggest you reinvest. You always are reinvesting in your skills, in your education. You're always reinvesting in the research and development of your next product, right? Your go-to market strategy. So think about this. All of these steps that we've just talked about is just for one product or one service. And once you have done all of this could take you 5, 6, 7 years, however, but once you've done all of this and now you have all this massive profit, now you take this and you say, guess what? I'm going to use this to now test out my next MVP. I'm going to use this now to iterate on my next MVP. I'm going to use this now to fund my go-to market strategy, right? And then third is create your own fund. This is something that I'm going to talk more about later, but I think that we all should have our own fund. Your fund could be $10 or your fund could be $10,000. This is akin to saying, let's invest. But I really like something that Kezia said. I love everything that Kezia said, by the way. But she said something really interesting. She talked about how she believes every family needs to be an LLC. And I think that it's interesting because when you have a business and your business has profit, you're able to do things with that profit that you can't do as an individual. And we'll talk more about this. But the point here is that within your business, you want to have a pool of money that's just your fund. You can invest in other businesses. You could do peer-to-peer lending, like I've talked about. You can reinvest that. You could put that into crowdfunding. As your business, you can invest into stocks and have a better tax advantage than you as an individual. But you want to have your own fund. This is how we do it, right? This is how we do it, is that we take all of those profits, we reinvest it back into ourselves, back into our business, and then back into our community through the fund. But these are the 10 steps. And my commitment is that if you literally follow these 10 steps in order, right? In order. And let me even go back real quick. Let's just do the quick so everybody knows, right? It starts with growth mindset, right? If you don't have the growth mindset, then you need to get that before you can keep going. Then think about how you can create a blue ocean, how you can create a product that is solving a pain point that no one yet is solving, and with a consumer, right, that no one else is addressing. That takes a lot of hard work, but you could do that. Next is you want to find the acute pain point. Remember, the more acute the pain point, the stronger your business essentially is. The stronger your product, the more acute the pain point is. Then you want to identify a single avatar, whether it's a B2B play, whether it's a B2C play, whatever. There's always that single avatar. You want to know what that person's pain point is, and you want to become obsessed with who that person is. You want to know everything you can about that person, because your whole focus is going to be, how can you solve that person's needs? Then you create your MVP, minimum viable product. And in your MVP, you're making sure that they eat all of the cake, right? You don't want to just see them eat it, like Ebony was saying, like they just eat it and that's it. You want to see them devour it and then ask for more. That's when you know you have a product that the marketplace needs, right? Then from there, you go to step 4. In that step, if the marketplace doesn't need it, that's where you go to step 4, and that's where you're iterating it, you're tweaking it, but you're making sure that you don't leave step 4 until you have a product that the market devours. And this is something that I don't want to predict doom and gloom, but I bet you this, and I'm going to see this in the mastermind, I'm sure, is that if you are already running a business and the consumer doesn't already devour and want more, right? It's just lukewarm. They can exist without you, right? If you're in that space, then you can't grow the multi-million-dollar business without lots of marketing capital. You just can't do it. So this is a very important step. Then 5, you got to have that come to Jesus talk. You need to know where you stand. Should you be the CEO? Should you be the COO? Should you be the CMO? Should it not be your business? What roles do you need? Who else do you need on your team? Do you have support, right? So when you come home from the tough day, then you get funding. But when I say funding, this is resource support. This is you identifying people in your community, like this community, who could help you. This is you figuring out, maybe I just need $2,000 I can get from friends and family. Then your go-to market strategy. Specifically, how am I going to get this product that I know my consumer loves into my consumer's hands? How am I going to do that? But more importantly, how am I going to do that at the least cost? Now, when you come out the gate, it's okay to spend high on your customer acquisition costs, but you want to figure out how over time you could lower that. Your goal, your objective should be to be number one. So in your particular market, whatever product or service you have, your goal should be number one. We're launching, my wife and I are launching Knowledge Share. Knowledge Share is going to be a social enterprise for people who want to barter, buy, and sell their expertise. That's exactly what we're creating. There are lots of competitors. I'm not starting this to be number 5. I'm not starting this to be number 4. I'm not staying up all night and investing my resources to be number 3. I'm doing it to be number 1. That was literally what I said in my mind. I said, is there's a path to be number 1? If there's a path to be number 1, I will do that, right? So that's iterating. Profit, you got to know your numbers, right? But you know that you have to focus on your gross margins, your gross profit. If you could continue to figure out how to increase your gross margin, your gross profit, you'll then have enough profit that you could reinvest back in yourself, reinvest that in your skill, reinvest that in your business, and reinvest that in your community. All right. Now, I will send a full recap. And in these recaps, I always include additional notes. I'll send that in the newsletter. But what I want to do is just respect the panel by asking the panelists if you have one final question that I can answer. If you don't have a question, no worries. But if you have one final question that I can answer for you about your business, and based on what we've said, and then we'll wrap up, guys. Then we'll wrap up.
Hi, thank you so much for everything you do on a daily basis. I feel really great after talking with you. I feel like, personally, I feel like you just went through my course that I'm offering. Because the value I know is there. So all of that rah-rah I need for myself, I got it. I know I got something great. But the thing that you did mention that I'm glad you did is that when you have that one person that you're focusing in on, and I think I've identified that person, which is just great. How do you then, I have other clients that I'm working with behind the scenes. Is there some things that we should be looking for in them, or do we, like you said, block them out? But are there some things we could still find or show up to give us some help, or do we need to stay laser focused and cut those people out, but still serve them, but not use them for our business?
Latoya, I have a quick story that I want to say about this, right? This is something that I've struggled with a lot. There was a Better with Paul session that I did a couple sessions ago where I asked the audience on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate the curation of the panel that I bring on, right? I don't know if you saw that session, but what happened is that I asked that question and there were people in the audience that gave me a 10, right? There were people who said it was a 10 curation, but there were some people who gave it a 7. The reason why they gave it a 7 is because the panelists were not specifically for them. Now, I still love them. I want them to be part of my community. But in order for me to do justice to my avatar, to my core community member, I can't water down what I give them. I have to specifically, unapologetically, specifically serve their pain point, even if that means I'm going to lose countless other people, right? Your avatar, your consumer has to know that you ride for them just like that. So does that mean intellectually? Sure, that means that you could still factor in, okay, I have these other avatars, yeah. But at the end of the day, your decision is only made based off of your avatar. That is it. And if you laser focus on your avatar, I guarantee you, your business goes to the next level. Because most people try to please everybody, but when you try to please everybody, you please no one.
I really appreciate you answering that question. That was on my mind, and you just helped me out a lot.
All right, you got it. Latoya, I love you. Latoya, I see you show up all the time, right? I love you. We got you. How can we support you? I want to make sure that we're leaving this and we're supporting everybody. Make sure what I love about us is that we support. This is a community that supports. What can we do to support you? You showed up on this panel. You were vulnerable. How can we support you?
Thank you so much. I'm Latoya Deshawn. I'm currently working in the entertainment industry, but out of work since about March 7th. But this has given me great time to work on my passion that has been my passion for the last 10 years. My company is the Pet and Leather Project. And right now, I'm good with steps 1 through 5. I'm now into the marketing stage, which I don't know anything about. I don't know how to pull that's something that's so valuable that I know I have and really put it to the masses and communicate it in a way where, again, that one person knows that I'm writing for them when they see it. I need someone strong in marketing. And although you're my IG mentor, I would love someone that I could strategize with as mentor to talk to on the phone.
All right, so real quick call of action right now in the community. Latoya needs someone strong in marketing that could step up, do a phone call with her, right? 1-2 hour pro bono. Let's do it, y'all. You guys, let's see who shows up right now. A lot of people saying that we got you, Latoya. I want to see somebody step up who knows marketing, who could get on a call with Latoya. Okay, right here, I see several people saying, Latoya, I could help you. Latoya. So here's Latoya. How can they reach out? Yeah, everyone's saying we need Latoya's. Of course, Paul, we need Latoya's contact information.
You're right. Okay. Yes. Info at petandleatherpro.com. You can also follow me at Latoya Deshawn, which you see my name here on Instagram.
Wait, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What's the better one for you?
Instagram, Latoya Deshawn.
Okay, Latoya. Day CHAUN. So here it is. Okay, so this is it right here, right? Latoya Deshawn.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Please hit Latoya up. If you are great at marketing, Latoya, I'm telling you, this is our time.
Look, come on, man. Let's go. Keep this energy. I appreciate you. I know I have something. Keep doing what you do.
And you, like you do it. You do it. All right. So that's Latoya, y'all. Everybody say God bless to Latoya. Excellent work. Let's see here. Ebony. How can, or I'm sorry, I'm already going to the support. Hold on, Ebony. What question? Do you have a question that I can answer?
The question I have, I am just starting this concept that I have of consulting small businesses. Essentially, I want to provide administrative as well as data analysis support to small businesses who don't have the capacity to do so. And the reason why is I see websites, I see flyers, I see social media posts with typos that just don't grasp my attention. That when I see things like that, I'm like, I'm not spending my money on business. And I know they're just trying to get their information out there, but I see a need for small businesses, particularly that need assistance with those sorts of things. My question is, how do I find that customer? Do I just, in my mind, I'm like, what is my next step? Okay, do I just inbox them? Hey, I see your website doesn't look that great. How can I help you? That is my question. What is the best route to go about finding those customers and getting in front of them? I'm focusing on Richmond. I want to be more in person, maybe one day, of course, one day this could be a national thing, but right now I am really about the community that I'm in.
Okay. It will be. I mean, words have power. You have to speak that into existence. You will be number one in the global market in providing that particular service to small businesses. You have to speak that because if that's part of the mindset, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't already speak that, you're not gonna get there, right? But you believe it, right? I know you believe it.
I do believe it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So now the next step I would say is the avatar. Who is your avatar? Have you done that work on who your avatar is?
I have not.
Okay, there you go. So now when you were building out your avatar, let me show you something real quick, Ebony, that I think you'll like. Is that let me go back here on the avatar. On the avatar, I don't know if you could really see this, but you'll get this when I send the deck. Is that in the avatar, when you are building out your avatar, you also identify what does your avatar like, what television shows does your avatar watch? What's their favorite what's their favorite social media platform? When are they online? When are they not online? Right? You have to know every detail about your avatar. Now, why? It speaks to your question. When you know exactly who your avatar is, when and how they show up online, you now know how to show up for them. You now know where to show up. You know what groups they're involved with. You know how to target them with Facebook ads, right? You know what words to use and what words not to use, right? You know everything about how to contact them. That, by the way, is go-to-market strategy. So what I would suggest is your first step is you already have a pain point, which I love, by the way. I love the pain point. I would suggest too, for your pain point, that you try to connect it to money. Because a lot of small businesses, they don't want to spend, it's okay if something is misspelled, but if it's something that connects with them not being able to make money, then please fix this misspelling, right? So if you could connect it to how they make money, that's a deeper pain point. And you keep going deeper and deeper. Then once you know exactly what the pain point is, you can then create your avatar. And identify your avatar. And then you have to become obsessed with knowing everything about your avatar. Once you know that, then you could progress through the steps, right? So we can't even get to how to show up because we don't know who to show up for. We need to know who that avatar is. But I think you could find that you could identify your avatar quick.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Ebony, how can we support you, even if it's just, following you on social, but is there any need that you need from the community where we can show up and help you?
As LaToya said, I would love a mentor. I would love to connect with someone in the consulting space, particularly small businesses. You meet people who are consulting, but they don't really give you the ins and outs like you want. I'm a consultant. Everyone's a consultant. Okay. But what does that actually look like for your life? How did you first get started? Some of those questions that I have that will eventually transition me from this full-time job that I have to working on my own thing. I would love to be able to connect with someone and talk through that.
Okay. So let's say this. Let's put the call out right now in the community. Someone who is a small business consultant that could jump on the phone with LaToya for an hour to two and not try to sell her anything, but just give her just the ins and outs, the details, to give her enough instruction so that she can start to do her own thing. Oh, wow. Right here.
Okay.
Reach out. All right. There we go. And I see a lot. I see. How about this? Let me put your information up again, because I see Daphne. Daphne's been a strong member. I've stalked Daphne's page, by the way, on Facebook. And actually, let me actually, real talk, real story, because I like to say this, is that Daphne showed up in the community about 4 or 6 weeks ago, and she wrote, she was like, I stumbled upon. See, Daphne, I know a lot about you. You probably don't realize this. Daphne was like, I stumbled upon this. I stumbled upon this. I don't know. And I was hooked. And then Daphne started showing up and she started sharing. She started encouraging other people. Daphne is my avatar. So therefore, I need to know everything I can about Daphne. So I would go to her page because I need to know this is the level. Because I need to make sure that every time I show up every week, I'm showing up for Daphne. I got to make sure, right? And I think that's the reason why Daphne keeps showing up, because I keep showing up for her, and I'm not watering anything down for her. So the point here is that you have to be obsessed with with the avatar. But real quick, what is your information so I could put that up for you?
It's Ebony Atkins on LinkedIn is probably the best way.
Okay, so uh,
At
or,
Ebony,
Ebony
IE.
Atkins. So that's probably linkedin.com/IN Ebony Atkins. Okay. So this is, I think this is it. All right. If you guys can, all of the, oh, wow. There's a lot of people there's a lot of people jumping in for you, Ebony.
Great.
So you check out the comments, and then also, you know, yeah. And a lot of people are saying Marsha's your avatar. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, Ebony.
Okay.
You got it. Ebony, thank you.
Thank you. This is invaluable. I appreciate it.
Ebony, we love you. Do it. Make it happen.
I
Ebony,
will.
when are you going to be full-time? When are you going to be full-time? Speak that into existence. When will you be full-time on your business?
2023.
No, Ebony. No, Ebony. I'm not going to, no. Ebony. No.
Okay.
Ebony, let's walk this through. All right. Repeat after me. I'm going to be full-time on my business that's making over 100,000 in revenue by the end of 2021. I'm going to be full-time working on my business, making over 100,000 in revenue by the end of 2021.
I'm going to be full-time on my business, making 100,000 in revenue by the end of 2021.
You got to believe that.
Okay.
You got to believe that. I believe it. Let's get it popping. There you go. All right, Ebony. Thank you, Ebony. Everybody say goodbye to Ebony.
Bye.
Goodbye to Ebony. All right. Let's go to last but not least. I gotta save Jamaica/London. I gotta save for the end.
Oh gosh.
Chantel, first questions. Do you have a question that I could try to answer?
I do. So I know earlier you were like, you're doing B2B and you're doing B2C, but because I guess what I'm trying to create is essentially a marketplace, so I'm going to be the middleman. That's why I get a bit confused, because I'm focused on the customer that's going to be the end sale, but I'm also focused on the brands that I have to essentially pitch and sell to sell in my marketplace. So with that being said, I know that it's one avatar and we focus on that and we focus on one product, but knowing those moving parts, where do I go from here, essentially?
Okay. I love this question. This is a question that I personally have been dealing with. So you mentioned that your business model is a marketplace. And for everybody watching, I want you to know that a marketplace, in my opinion, is one of the smartest business models to create. So I love that you're creating a marketplace. Now, a marketplace typically has a buy side and a sell side, right?
Exactly.
Typically in marketplaces, the supply side is the harder one to secure, and it's the supply side that drives the buy side, right? So you think about eBay is a marketplace, right? Or you think about Airbnb is a marketplace. You can't get the buyer unless you have the supplier, the person providing the real estate or providing the products. So you have to pick one at first. But what is tricky, right? So this is a good question. This is an advanced question, is that what's tricky about a marketplace is that you have to identify the supplier, but then you also have to identify the buyer. Yeah. So what I would suggest you do is you figure out first, is there a way to identify a single avatar that's both buyer and seller? For example, in Knowledge Share is a marketplace. I started thinking about how to streamline Knowledge Share, and I realized that I'm focused on the same avatar. It's an entrepreneur. My avatar is you, Chantel, right? It's someone who has a product or service, but also needs products and services, and they want to barter back and forth. They want to sell. So therefore, my supplier is the same as my buyer. It makes it easier to now create the solution. So that's the first step. You want to figure out, is that possible? If that's not possible, then you want to figure out who drives what. If it's the supplier that drives it, you have to focus your efforts on the supplier first, but simultaneously, you need to have the buyer. So in summary, you need to have both. But
Okay.
I'm still saying focus your energy on you know, on one or the other first.
So when you say, if you let's just say you find a single avatar that's both buyer and seller, in my mind, the first thing I thought of was, okay, well, I'll find an independent brand that is likely, or an independent brand that is also has an entrepreneur that's a buyer and a seller. But then maybe that's a little bit too specific. So when you say, if I were to find a buyer and a seller, you know, is that a brand? Is it more just thinking of it as a bartering? Like, you have an independent brand, you're looking to get more eyes on you. I'm looking to create a marketplace. So let's come together and then get enough of those to build up to brands that necessarily don't need me immediately. I need them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick. What's the pain point that you're solving?
I am creating a marketplace where Black women can come in and find beauty products that are made for them, by them.
Okay.
At
So,
a department store type of level.
okay. All right. I see exactly what, or roughly, I see what you're doing. All right. So because that's a marketplace, right?
Mhm.
I think, are you looking for, so independent companies, so small entrepreneurs who are creating, like, they're like in their living room, they're creating whatever. I don't know.
No, that's
Yeah.
not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for established brands that are essentially creating like a Sephora, but when you walk in, it's Black owned brands for
All right.
Black women.
All right. I see. I feel you. So here's the question. I think where your focus is actually is your focus is going to be on the buyer side, in my opinion, because those suppliers won't want to engage with you unless you have the buy side. And the more buy side you have, the more the suppliers are going to want to engage with you, the higher rate you could charge
for them, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. A matter of fact, that's called liquidity. So in a marketplace, when you have heavy buyer, when you have a lot of people who want to buy from the suppliers, that's called liquidity in a marketplace.
Okay.
A marketplace's value is based on how much liquidity it has. So what you want to do is, I think you want to focus on the buyers. You want to identify them. You want to know precisely who they are. That's your avatar. You want to know that this marketplace is going to solve their need. And then you want to go about aggregating as many of them as possible. But your focus now, after hearing that, is the buyer. That's your focus. That's what gives you the leverage, is being the buyer or having the buyers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I like it. I like it. Jill was shocked there. Jill was shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm my avatar, so I feel like I really understand. And I just want to say thank you, because I just joined this live just to join, because I watched the last one, and obviously I've been following you for years, and I just thought of this idea like 3 days ago, and I get in a bad habit of thinking of ideas and sitting on it. So when I saw that you were like, come in for people that don't have no idea, I love that, because a lot of times it's people that are already super established in their business.
Yeah.
So thank you for creating a space for true beginners, because that's me at the moment. So yeah. Yeah.
You got it. You got it. And you know what I love? I love that you just jump right into it. That means you've got the right mindset. That means, like, you're ready to do it. You're ready to do it. So is there anything that the community can do to help you?
Absolutely. So anyone with like executive level market space experience, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, maybe even like Target, especially being in that middle ground of having things kind of come through and come out to the end customer. I would love your help. Even anyone in tech that has a little bit of experience with that, because obviously user interface and stuff like that, I would love to hop on the phone. All knowledge is welcome, because this is really like the beginner stage. So yeah, I hope that helps.
All right, so let's do this. I want to nominate my man, Tony Alexander, who works for Amazon, one of the best marketplaces in the world. Wow, and Tony, look at this. Tony put his hand up already. I love it. Shows you that we're on the same page. Tony is like, that's my little brother right there. He leads a lot of the work at Amazon. I think he would be perfect for you. And he's already volunteered. So there you go. Tony's got you. Tony, can you reach out to Chantel? Where he can reach out to you right here, right?
Yeah, that's my Instagram. I'm also Chantel Russo on LinkedIn. So whatever works. Happy to chat. Someone said Alibaba. Yeah, it's all the same. So happy to listen to anyone that has an ear. Thank you. Right.
There you go. I think you're going to have a lot of people who reach out, but at minimum, Tony's got you. I know Tony for sure. Tony's got you. Chantel, it's beautiful to see you. Keep holding it down for us. Jamaican / everything in London.
Literally.
Yes. Be safe. And I love the business idea. I love it.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
Right. All right, guys. How was today? You know, I like to do a temperature check. How was today? Once again, couple things about today. Make sure you're on the newsletter list. Okay. Make sure you're on this list. I will do a full recap. I'm going to do the recap this weekend so that you get this newsletter next week. You get a full recap of this. So make sure you're there. Make sure also that if you are, you know, today was, so I'm definitely doing, I mentioned at the top, I'm definitely going to host a mastermind. I go hard. A lot of my mentees from the mastermind, Tony is one of my mentees, right? A lot of you all are watching, may have been a mentee of mine. I go hard in the masterminds, but my focus in this mastermind coming up is I want to take people who have business ideas and I want to figure out how to get their business launched in 30 days. You know, like, you know, what Ebony was saying, I was hearing it like 2023, but you could do this now. So that's my goal for one group. My goal for the people who are growing their businesses, I want to figure out how to get them more profitability within 30 days. And those who are growing their thought leadership brand, I want to figure out how to make them optimally persuasive with their content and figure out how they can monetize all within 30 days. That's my goal. And I'll have the time to make it happen. So make sure that you guys get on this list to get that first announcement. And then don't forget about Jamaica. Jamaica's, if you like the tribe, if you like this vibe already and you just like this online, think about what's going to happen when we've got red stripe and we're on a beach. Just think about that. Just think about that. It'll be crazy. So make sure that you're joining that. Guys, how was today? Let's see. I'm just going to randomly pick. I'm ready to be more focused. That's what I'm talking about, Susan. You get it. My man, Marcus. Let's see what Marcus is talking about. Lots of value. You got it, Marcus. I'm glad. Let's see what YouTube is saying. Okay, about to unleash level 3. Oh, she's about to unleash. She's got that level 3 content, that level 3 heat. My sis Linda, always love. Linda is first in the queue, almost always. Love you much, Linda. Oh, wow. Kavan. By the way, I want to put Kavan on stage in Jamaica. I want to put him on stage. I think he's got that much talent. I want to see him just host. Come on. Actually, I want to see you host something. I know you've got that skill. I'm going to put that challenge. I want to see you host, like you moderate one of the panels. I want to see you do something. I'm going to put a challenge out there for you for that. Denitra, there you go. She's loving it. My sis Kemi, she's always on fire. Kemi's always on fire. Kemi's been to a retreat. She knows what the retreats are about. This is my sis right here. I was talking to her. I love it. All right, guys. Nakia knows. She knows what a retreat is about. Stephen was great. A lot of direction, very short time. Great panelist. Stephen, thank you. All right. Kavan, he took the challenge. He's down. All right. We got to figure out what panel you want to host. And you got it, man. You got that. All right, guys. That's all I have to say. I love you all. This is our time. Let me end with that. Kim, let me shout out Kim too. Kim is always showing up. Love you much. I love everyone, right? I love you all. I love you all. Let me say this. This is our time. This is our time. This is it, right? It's not, we're going to do it in 2023. We're going to do it in 2022. We're going to do it. No. We're going to do it now. We are going to do it now. I'll see you next week. Take care.